Anyone want to be interviewed on camera for local social media? The link?
For who?
For the link, it's local social media.
I will. What is that? Yeah.
I'm going to ask you the same questions I've been asking everybody else. The fact that I'm standing this far away is somebody to get you in frame. Speak loudly.
All right.
So, what brings you here today at the Women's March?
Well, we are supporting women. We're supporting Trump, who is the only one supporting women. Just recently, we had a vote by the Congress, and 100%, according to my sign, 100% of the Democrats voted against keeping men out of women's sports, and it's dangerous for women.
You're talking about trans men.
XY chromosomes should not be playing with XX.
I actually, my son is trans, and I do agree with you on the point of sports. I do agree with you.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't have equal rights by any means, but it's very dangerous, and it not only is dangerous to XX women, it also takes away scholarships and awards and things like that. So it's monetarily, financially hurting women to compete against non-XX women. Okay?
Overall, if I might ask, roughly how many people in the state of Arizona or nationally do you think are affected by, like, ballpark?
No, I'm thinking it's
hundreds,
just one,
tens,
1%. I don't even know if it's
1% of the whole population.
I think so, but I don't really know. That's just off the top of my
Well,
head.
the entire transgender population is estimated in Canada and the United States to be about 0.5%
Oh, all right.
of the population. So and that's all transgenders.
Yeah.
So the number of people maybe competing for sports positions, I don't know. I'm just saying.
It shouldn't have happened. Many of the Democrats agree that XY women and XX women should not compete. Okay.
Right. And I hate Democrats too. I'm registered green.
I'm just saying, so their Congress people are not properly representing them in this case. So that's something that both sides should be able to agree on.
Yes.
So we're standing up for that. Also, people that agree with abortion at any time, that goes back and forth. Some don't want any, some want limited, some are okay with it to term. Trump is the one that gave it back to the states, and the state of Arizona voted to allow abortion up to birth. So,
but then, if I might ask, there are what are known as abortion deserts, series of states contiguous to one another who have chosen what do you call it? Anti-abortion over choice.
But it's
if I might finish, what are women in those states who may be unable to bring up a child supposed to do in those states?
Well, I would be a very small amount of states that have no abortion at all.
You mean that disallow abortion? There's about completely. 27,
Many
I think.
Many of them have a limit. It's maybe a certain number of weeks. I do not know.
Right.
And those women, if they feel the need, can cross state lines. There's no reason.
But they have to cross a lot of state lines, and then in certain states like Texas, they may be prosecuted after crossing the state lines. Is that fair?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I can't speak.
Well,
on that
I would research what Governor Abbott of Texas and also Governor, what was the fellow who ran for president against Trump from Florida, the governor? DeSantis, yeah. I would check on what DeSantis and Abbott in particular are doing, because they seem to be making it criminal to get an abortion elsewhere, which
Personally, I think there should be limits on abortion. I don't agree with late term, and I don't agree with post-birth murder. I don't agree with that.
Okay, I understand.
I do agree that there should be some limits. I don't know what the limits are. There used to be 15 weeks here in Arizona. That seems reasonable to me. Trump has always said in cases of rape and incest, it should be allowed. He's always had that position, but he gave it back to the states, which I think is good.
We just had an amendment passed, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, in the last election cycle, which codifies in the Constitution the legality of abortion. So we are a pro-abortion state. I can't cite the number of weeks, but 15 weeks sounds ballpark around correct.
The judge recently threw out the 15-week ban. So as far as I am aware, Arizona is up to birth, as far as I know. I just saw a judge throw out the 15-week ban.
Oh, I'll have to look into that.
So
Thank you.
Broadened the under the state. I don't really know.
I thank you for that tip, because honestly, I haven't had time to research since the election.
It was just last week that I saw somewhere where a judge had thrown out the ban. So, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure.
Would you not agree, just to leave this on a positive note, because my dog's getting a little antsy, would you not agree that there's fertile ground for groups like yours and groups like the Preskit Invisible and the Women's March to find common ground to agree on, and then kind of work together?
What I'm not seeing here is a women's march. I'm seeing a resist Trump, a pro-Ukraine.
It is part that, yes.
Anti-Putin. I'm not seeing much that I've seen about women.
Did you hear any of the speeches?
A little bit, but I'm looking at the signs and what they have come up to me to say.
I tell you what, look for the link on Facebook and you'll see what was specifically said, because I was right there at stage.
Yes.
Even these people in the yellow vests who are going to kind of corral the march couldn't hear the speeches, were a little frustrated.
Yeah, I didn't hear what they were saying. I'm just going by what the signage is. I expected more of a pro-women march. And
I do see the pink flags, the pink dress. You're basically expressing solidarity with women.
Well, yes. And I think Trump is a champion for women just by closing the border, keeping the murders and rapists that are killing women and other citizens out of our country until they're vetted. He has gotten rid of the transgender competition in sports, which should be. And I also, think he should not allow I think at the bathroom issue, they should have single stalls. Everybody waits.
Oh, you mean like unisex bathrooms? Yes. I apologize. I misunderstood.
No, I
you know what?
Because I'm sick of waiting in the line while the men's room is.
And you know what? It wasn't even until the Victorian era that places would have separate bathrooms for the genders.
I think unisex bathrooms, one stall, sink, everybody goes in.
Oh my gosh.
Then you don't argue.
I'm so 100% in agreement with you on that.
The women aren't standing in the line while the men
I have a trans son, so I have to be concerned that if he's forced to go into a woman's stall, which is his biological makeup, he's XX.
Yes.
Not interested in sports. If he's forced to go into a women's stall, he looks like a man, but he'd be forced to go into a woman's stall, then that's just going to cause confusion and violence.
There we can agree on.
Thank you.
All unisex bathrooms.
Thank you.
The line, and nobody has to be embarrassed or ashamed or assaulted or anything.
Are many of your friends familiar with that point of view of yours? Do you think they would be in agreement?
I have expressed it.
There you go.
Some that are older, more dug in. Some are not. There's not any one group out here. We're just individuals. We're not a coordinated group. We're not all Republicans. We're not Democrats. We're not all independents. We just come out.
Right.
And so it's not a coordinated thing. That's all. But so I don't know what they might think, but it would be on an individual
Thank you so much. I'm a fan of long format videos, so I don't plan to edit this down or chicken. Are you happy with everything you said? Do you want anything dropped?
Well, I'm not aware of some of the things about the abortion laws that you might be asking that I'm not sure of. But
you stated you weren't sure of, which is fine. I'm just asking if there's something you definitely would not air it. I would prefer to just let it roll.
I support Ukrainians. I support the people. I don't like the leaders. And I think they need to have an election over there and get Zelensky out. He's not doing any good for the Ukrainian people. I support the Ukrainian people 100%. I support the Israeli people 100%. I support Canadians 100%.
But wouldn't you agree if there were another election and Zelensky was a candidate and he was fairly elected, it would be up to the Ukrainians to choose their leader?
Yes.
Okay. And on that note,
he needs to come to the table, and so does Putin. They need to get this stopped. That's the bottom line.
I agree with you that Zelensky needs to be at the table. I need to get moving because my dog is going to get...
Thank you so much for
And point me out to anybody else who would like to be interviewed.
I don't know. The guy, let's see. There's a couple of guys that like to talk a lot.
Oh, yeah. They're my boys.
He's got a New York accent, but I don't see him right now.
I got to not see all these dogs. I can't go that way.
You go on and see if anybody'd like to talk. Oh, sure. Ed over there. See the guy with the
blue
the red hat and the U.S. flag?
Oh, no, my dog's unfriendly. I'm sorry.
All right, he'll talk.
With the what? The blue
right
blue.
there to the right with the U.S. flag, talking to the guy with
Yeah,
the,
so
with
he's
the-
got, Ed has a blue vest and a red hat
and it says
flag.
DOGE on his sign.
Perfect.
He's more old school Democrat, Republican, but
Oh, you outed him as a Democrat. Sorry.
no, he's from New York.
I'm
I always
teasing.
think of New Yorkers as Democrats.
There you go.